Okay,
All right, can
start.
you? Yep.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can't see you. Your camera's still off.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll turn my camera back on then.
But like Zencaster never stopped for me, so that's
Which
good
is
at
great
least.
because it
Yeah.
never stopped for us either, so we're still
Okay.
recording.
Cool. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The gist of the story is that Seth Rogen and Pot is coming to Call of Duty near you.
as a as a paid skin. So that's the question. Do you like Seth Rogen enough that you would pay for him?
Can we be done with this whole thing with weed and bringing in video games? Like, oh, cool. I smoke weed, man. Yeah, it's so. Nobody fucking cares. Nobody gives a shit if you smoke weed. Okay, it's so stupid. I've been sick of this whole thing since forever. Since people putting 420 or whatever in their gamer tags and stuff like that. Who fucking cares?
And I, I'm just trying to think to myself, like, what executive board meeting where they're like, you know who we need for this? Seth Rogen, right?
Yeah.
And somebody was like, wait, don't you mean Joe Rogan? Like, no, the hippie guy, yeah.
The hippie guy.
I mean, I think they both smoke a lot of weed. So.
I would also say that there seems to be a crossover from folks who are, of course, regular consumers of cannabis and people who play Call of Duty.
Clearly,
So,
or they wouldn't be doing this.
right. So I'm sure they did their demographic work, found out
Mm-hmm.
that this was it's a match made in heaven.
Of course.
But good for them, I guess. If this is like super successful, I'm really looking forward to people talking about how their entire lobby is just full of Seth Rogen.
Well, I think what better way to like haunt people's nightmares is to kill them in the game and then do Seth Rogen's laugh. So that they hear it every time they die. They hear the laugh, and then it's like a Pavlov's response. Every time they hear him laugh from then on, they just get PTSD about it.
Go to the movies and he's in it and he laughs and just
Yeah, have a rage attack. Yeah, it is, and it's an interesting choice though. It's like we'll have the Terminator, we'll have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and we'll have Joe Rogan or Seth Rogen. Whatever, one of the Rogans.
One of the Rogans.
One of the Rogans, yeah. It's a
like
interesting
Baldwin's.
choice.
Oof, we don't want Billy or Steven.
Which Baldwin do you want?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Alec.
Oh, 1980s Alec Baldwin. Yes, I agree with you.
1980s and early 2000s from 30 Rock Alec Baldwin. Yes.
Oh, fair.
Yeah.
Recently, he's had some trouble.
That's so good, man.
Oh man, I want to make a joke, but this would not be PC. So
Then
Come on.
better not.
Oh.
All right, I will hold off. That would be an uncut joke that I would.
Yeah, it's like you can make it on the private show, but whatever joke you make here is out on the internet.
That is fair.
I thought they did add a Towley character to Call of Duty or something like that, Clayman. And welcome in, Clayman.
Hey, Clay.
You get killed by him. It's like, don't forget to bring a towel. Oh, that would be so insulting. Almost worse than his laugh. Almost worse. Is there anybody? I mean, Jane Silent Bob actually, I think is more my speed.
Yeah, and they've got their
culture.
skins. They've got their skins in Call of Duty right now. I want to get them, but I'm not spending any more money on that game, so it's gonna pass.
Is it Blunt Man and Chronic?
It is not Blunt. You can get Blunt Man and Chronic, but it is just regular Jay and Silent Bob, and not even the good Jay and Silent Bob. It's from Jay and it's from Clerks 2.
Really?
Yeah, I'd rather have Clerks 1 or Mallrats Jay and Silent Bob, not Clerks 2.
Completely agree. Have them in black and white. That would be kind of fun.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and Rambowski says, "Love fucking Towley. Do you love?"
It was a demand.
Yeah.
It wasn't a question.
Okay.
It wasn't saying I love. It was you need to love fucking Towley.
Well, it's like we said earlier, we don't kink shame, but sometimes we ask kink why.
Exactly. Donnie, the Jay and Silent Bob snob. Yep, that's me.
All right. So why don't we go ahead and jump into our top 3 new releases?
All right, first up this week, we have Shotgun Cop Man out on Switch and PC. Go to hell and arrest Satan. Propel yourself to justice and glory on a journey through hell in this punchy, crunchy, son of a gun precision platformer from Devolver Digital and the creator of My Friend Pedro. Dive into an action-packed campaign in over 150 levels and face off against intense boss battles. Then put yourself to the test and beat all the no damage, speedrun, and kill all challenges. Next up is Despelote out on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Despelote is a soccer game about people. Get immersed in the streets and parks of Quito as you dribble, pass, and shoot your soccer ball around town and see what happens when you kick it someone's way. Feel the city change as Ecuador comes closer than ever to qualifying for the 2001 World Cup. And then finally, Moroi out on PC. Moroi is a grimdark fairy tale with an even darker sense of humor. Experience frantic combat, perplexing puzzles, and a twisting narrative anchored by a bizarre cast of characters. Several playthroughs of Moroi will be required to experience all the game has to offer, from subtle changes within the story to the multiple fate-changing endings. So out of these 3, what are you in for, Donnie?
Despelote, soccer? No. Immediately saw that. It's like, nope, I'm out. I don't care about soccer. I don't care if you're trying to take the FIFA out of this and putting into something else. No, does not interest me. Shotgun Cop Man sounds like it would be awesome. I looked at the game, and while it looks cool a little bit, it does look like something that somebody used Game Maker to make. And that's not saying it couldn't be fun. I don't know. I don't really know about this game. It looks like something I might spend about 5 or 10 minutes on and just be like, yeah, okay, move on to something else. Moroi, that looks good. That looks really freaking good. I like the top-down angle because then I can kind of see everything, and it's not like the camera's going to go all wonky and make me look out into nothingness, and all of a sudden the enemy's right behind me and shoving something you know where, which is what I experienced with Elden Ring. So
go
on. It looks dark, it looks gritty, and the frantic combat, perplexing puzzles, that sounds interesting to me. So Moroi is going to be my choice this week.
Nice.
All right. What about you, Ryan?
Despelote looks like a dungeon crawler with soccer that was filmed with a Game Boy camera.
Okay.
It's weird. Can we just, I mean, am I way off base by saying that? It looks weird.
You're not off base, but remember that one game that came out? It was like the cooking game, and it was because of this guy's personal experience with his mom and moving from like one country over, and maybe is this something kind of like that?
Could be.
Okay.
I'm not willing to jump feet first into it to find out. I will wait for the reviews to come in. So that's a no for Despelote.
Okay.
Next up is Shotgun Cop Man, which sounds like a title that was typed into ChatGPT. The premise of it is that you are a cop that is arresting the Satan in hell. Satan's already in hell, but we need to arrest him while he's in hell.
Right.
I don't understand that.
Maybe hell has laws and you're a hell cop, and if Satan broke hell laws, then he has to go to jail just like anybody else.
So Satan's not the supreme dictator of hell?
Satan's not above the law. in hell.
So what you're saying is he's got morals. All of a sudden, Satan's got morals. Yeah, he's got laws he's got to follow. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. It looks like Super Meat Boy, mixed with
Yes.
I don't know. It also reminds me a bit of like a Metroidvania, a little bit, right? I don't think there's as much open world exploration per se, but there's a lot of bouncing, jumping, utilizing different weapons, that kind of thing. Um, so there's a bit of that, and I think this is one of those ones that speedrunners are absolutely gonna love. Um, gonna go ape shit for. I'm not one of those people. I'm gonna guess that this is gonna be really hard, which of course scares me. So I'm gonna pass on the award-winning naming of Shotgun Cop Man. Which brings us to Moroi. Looks super awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Top-down perspective reminds me a bit of
Super Smash TV.
Super Smash TV. There it is. Yeah.
I know you.
The other piece, though, is what I recognize while watching some of the trailers is that there are moments in which things explode that actually end up kind of preventing you from seeing what's happening on the screen. So that is one of my concerns with it, but it looks gorgeous. It's got a really almost like Tim Burton-esque art style to it as well.
Okay.
That seems appealing. So it would be definitely something that I would consider picking up. Um, just again, it also looks pretty freaking hard. But if I'm going to pick one or the other, I think probably Moroi is less about repetition and having to do those like leaps of faith than Shotgun Cop Man. So I'll go with Moroi on this one.
Nice.
All right.
Blue, what about you?
Well, unlike you, party poopers, for 2 weeks in a row,
Ah.
I would play any of these games pretty happily.
Despelode? Really?
Okay, yeah, you know what? We'll start there since both of you just kind of took a quick look at it and then immediately started to poo-poo it. This looks like a really touching, heartfelt indie game that somebody absolutely poured their soul into, telling the story of a particular moment in their childhood, and it's centered around soccer. Now, as far as the gameplay, it's as far as I understand it, pretty inspired by Untitled Goose Game. So if you enjoy kind of that sandboxy area where you can go around and do whatever you want, this is kind of like the same thing, except for it seems like you can kick a soccer ball around or kick glass bottles around and break them and just get into all kinds of trouble. But while that's happening, you're kind of exploring this moment in time in Ecuador in 2001 surrounding the World Cup. So is it I'm not a soccer fan, but I feel
Okay.
like that there's a story here that could make soccer and the experience more approachable to someone like me was absolutely nothing tying me to this.
If I don't like soccer, then if that's the major point of the game, it's not going to draw me in to make me want to play it.
I don't think it necessarily is soccer. You're not playing soccer. You're just kicking the
Yeah,
ball around. I
it's a
take it back.
mechanic.
I
Right, I take it back.
understand that, but it's centered around soccer.
Well, you don't
Yeah,
have to play it.
I'm not. I'm just saying.
Just because I said I would play it, both of you are immediately offended.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brian was. I'm not. I'm just saying, like, there's no draw in this for me just because it's from an indie studio. Okay, that's really no draw for me. It has to have something that I want to associate with, and soccer is not one of them. Mass murder, sure, I'm drawn in, but soccer, no.
Right. So, yeah, I would play it. I don't think it's a game about soccer, but I would play it. Moving on to Shotgun Cop Man. I will agree in that initially I got pretty excited because hey, I love Devolver Digital. I think they put out some great stuff, but I'm just not sure about this. I don't think the art style is doing it any favors. I think the gameplay seems like a Super Meat Boy, like you said, but I would say it's more like a Celeste type of gameplay versus
Yeah.
a Metroidvania, where it's that super precise, difficult platforming.
Yep.
Yeah, the art style makes it look kind of cheap, but I think otherwise it would probably be fairly fun if you like that type of gameplay, which I do.
Yeah.
And then, of course, like you guys, I think Moroi looks amazing. It looks like a bad acid trip in Wonderland, and I
Ooh.
think it would be super fun. So I would play any of these, but if I'm picking one that I would buy first, it would be Moroi.
Very nice. And that's a great description of an acid trip in Wonderland, because Wonderland is an acid trip in and of itself. And now you're taking acid while on an acid trip.
Just seems normal now. Mad Hatter's doing his taxes. Shit, what was I gonna say? All right, sorry. Totally lost my train of thought.
I don't know. Before we move on, let's take a quick break to talk about our sponsor. This segment is proudly sponsored by the Retro Game Club podcast. It's a fantastic, family-friendly retro gaming podcast. In each episode, Rob picks 2 games to play and discuss, as well as news, interviews, and other topics. Right now, they want to know, what video game or series do you think needs to be adapted into a movie or show? Wait a second. What? Send your answers to...
reverse it.
It's your plan if a plan yak. Send your answers to email at retrogameclub.net or follow the link in the show notes. I feel like this show is being sandwiched together by those 2 questions, because it's the same
Would you
damn
like being
thing.
in the middle of a sandwich?
Only if there's a cream filling.
You provide your own cream filling.
I
That's
volunteer to
fair.
be the meat.
Yeah. The bologna?
Bologna.
Bologna. What video game or series do you think needs to be adapted into a movie or show? Okay.
Alicia Dragoon from the Sega Genesis, starring Sydney Sweeney. Send it.
Ooh. Okay. I had that game, I think, on... Yeah, I've got that game.
I suppose you're going to be watching the Frick.
Yes, the Frick.
Yeah, the new game that just came out with the 2 players. The 2 writers, and one was the fantasy writer, and one was the sci-fi writer.
Just like the game that came out with the 2 players. Like, yeah, great.
Nobody puts out 2-player games anymore.
Split fiction. Agent Nil says split
fiction. Thank you, Agent Nil. Sydney Sweeney going to be in the split fiction adaptation. I suppose to be first in line to go see it.
First.
You know, the game that has the thing with the 2 people. That, you know
Agent Nil know what I was talking about.
The movie with the guy was in the other movie with the other guy.
We knew what you were talking about. We were just giving you a lot of shit for it.
I'm the dude that's playing the dude.
I know what dude I am. So, I know that Blue is probably going to... I've got several, right? One of them that's on the top of the list is Castlevania. I love the animated series Castlevania that Netflix put out, but I would really like to see something live, and hopefully they don't mess it up, like a live action Castlevania. I know you got the cringe face, like, I don't think so. They probably would mess it up, but I would like to see it. Along with something like Mega Man, Metal Gear. I'm surprised they have not done a Metal Gear series by now, but with the cinematics and stuff that we've received in the Metal Gear series, do we really need a Metal Gear series?
Well, they had that Metal Gear movie that's been caught in development hell and not going anywhere.
But it hasn't been released yet.
Yeah. No, because I don't think it's gonna be.
Yeah. And then of course Night Trap and Smash TV.
Tegan85 said 1000% live action Castlevania would be the Castlevania 64 to anime Symphony of the Night. Love it.
Yes.
Would it be Castlevania Legacy of Darkness though? That's the question.
I don't think it matters. But bullshit.
So hear me out. I think it's the Great British Baking Show needs like a Wii level shovelware adaptation of a game where you use the motion controls to bake the things.
Mixing
So
the
like
batter.
Cooking Mama, right? I'm surprised they didn't come up with that, right? I mean, I got a copy of American Idol for the PS2.
Right?
Why did they make the grape?
It was
Or
the
like Cake?
But-
Is it Cake or Not Cake? You know that
right.
one?
Do you have Cooking Mama 2 though?
Cooking Mama
Why
too.
do you have that at hand,
It's
Donnie?
it's a case only, case and manual. I'm getting ready to put it up on eBay. There you go. That's why. But I'm glad it was right there because it segued right into it.
But yeah, it was the Wii was the golden era of shovelware, and they still release Wii games from time to time. I think usually just Dance, but
Just Dance. Yeah.
Great British Baking Show deserves its own shovelware adaptation with motion controls.
Okay.
I agree.
Ryan, what's your choice?
Lisa Dragoon starring Sydney Sweeney.
Oh, that's right.
Send
that's
it.
right. Sorry. Blue, what's your choice? Hi, I'm Tom.
Right, as I say, like we're Groundhog Day. Great. All right. Well, thank you for coming, students. Please take your seats and welcome back to Professor Rybread's Gaming History 101. And in today's lesson, we'll be discussing 3 of the most egregious scams ever perpetrated on the retro gaming community: the Coleco Chameleon, the Intellivision Amico, and the Super Sega. So I will say, well, actually, before I jump into this, did any of us like sponsor, pre-order, do any of these? Were you guys ever affected by any of these 3?
Not at
Not
all.
the slightest.
Good. So I'm not like rubbing salt in a wound. So that's good to hear.
Would that stop you? Because I kind of don't think it would. I think you would rub harder.
Moving on. So, I mean, if we look at scams, they're nothing new. They've likely existed since humanity has existed. But in particular, we're going to look at 3 recent scams that played on the nostalgia of gamers that promise kind of like revolutionary gaming experiences that actually never came to fruition. And this, I will admit, bothers me personally because it not only preys on people who are just looking for another way to enjoy their hobby, but these scam artists have often riled up communities against themselves. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at how they were done, who was involved, and what the outcomes were. So we're going to do them in chronological order, starting in 2015 with the Coleco Chameleon. Now, this was originally pitched as the Retro VGS video game system. The Coleco Chameleon was meant to be a cartridge-based console that rivaled the golden era of gaming with, say, modern touches. So no downloads, no updates, just plug and play. And it actually promised a kind of simpler time, a review to simpler times in more of a modern shell. So targeting, the nostalgia of gamers who were yearning for physical media in an age that was increasingly dominated by digital games. So the project was actually spearheaded by a gentleman by the name of Mike Kennedy, who is a retro enthusiast best known for Retro Magazine. And after a failed Indiegogo campaign, which should have been a red flag right there for anyone, under the name Retro VGS, Kennedy managed to license the Coleco brand and rebranded the device as the Coleco Chameleon, hoping that the retro name would add some legitimacy to it. Well, unfortunately, at the 2016 New York Toy Fair, a prototype of the console was shown to the public. But a sharp-eyed set of internet sleuths on forums like Atari Age quickly noticed that the quote-unquote prototype was just a gutted Super Nintendo Junior motherboard stuffed into a repainted Atari Jaguar shell.
He didn't even try.
No, it's so low effort. Donnie, you're right. Okay. And rather than like admitting it or coming clean, if you will, he doubled down. So a few weeks later, he actually created a second prototype that he put online. And this time it was outed that it was just a video capture card from a PC rig awkwardly mounted inside the case. So obviously the deception was undeniable. And Coleco Holdings later learned of the stunt and they immediately pulled their support. Issuing a public space statement distancing themselves from the project. So kudos to Coleco for recognizing a turd when it was a turd.
Wow, 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 wow.
Only after they stepped in it.
Yeah.
But I guess better late
True.
than never.
What is this? Oh, it's the
Nice.
Amico on the bottom of my shoe.
All right, next up is the Television Amico, starting in 2018. The Television Amico aimed to be a wholesome, quote-unquote, family-friendly alternative to the console wars. It promised couch co-op simplicity, affordable pricing, and a library of exclusive games that you could find on no other platforms, including Earthworm Jim 3. It
Yeah.
was a bold revival of the 1980s and television brand with a new generation. So the face of the Amico was my favorite person, Tommy Tallarico,
Ah.
a video game composer and a TV personality best known for Electronic Playground and Video Games Live. He brought charisma, nostalgia, and enough enthusiasm to rally investors, retro fans, and media outlets behind the project. Later revelations about Tommy revealed that he had a history of making bold claims, including several Guinness records as most prolific video game composer, most video game concerts performed, largest audience for a live video game music concert at 752,000 in China, and a person who has worked the most on the most commercially released video games. Remember, these were all done through Guinness Book of World Records, which is a highly reputable source of records. Can you feel the sarcasm?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Which,
I
by the
felt it.
way, lines up with that he allegedly
Allegedly.
stole music compositions and credit for game developing prowess that he had nothing to do with, making him the video game equivalent of Frank Dukes or Steven Seagal.
Okay, USA.
So the Amico collected millions in funding via Start Engine, Fig, and other direct pre-orders, and it promised an October 2020 launch, which I'm guessing you can guess never happened. Then another delay and games were demoed were often low-budget mobile ports. The hardware specs remained vague, and the custom touchscreen controller was plagued with issues. Messaging became muddled with what is this, a kids console, a retro revival, an indie platform, and interestingly enough, financial records painted a troubling picture, including heavy consultant fees and negligible hardware production. Developers began backing away, and by 2020, Tellerico stepped down as CEO of the company as it was bleeding uh, credibility. As of 2025, no commercial units of the Amigo have shipped to customers, and a few developer kits and demo units exist, but the platform is effectively vaporware. Tellerico's reputation has taken a hit, and the Intellivision entertainment remains in limbo.
Blue, after I said okay, USA, Ryan's laugh sounded very much on point like Seth Rogen. So
So I should keep that as a soundbite.
please do that.
Clayman says, "This is just macaroni glued to an SNES."
All right. So last up is the Super Sega in 2023. It was the stuff of fanboy dreams. Leaked images of a new Sega console allegedly developed under the codename Project Saturn Plus. Posts claimed that it would feature 4K support, AI-enhanced retro gate, and native compatibility with Dreamcast titles. A resurrection of a legendary brand. The individual behind the Super Sega hoax was Alejandro Martin, a Spanish developer and owner of the site that sold ROMs in the late 1990s and early 2000s. The initiative claimed to offer a modern console capable of playing various Sega systems, including SG-1000, Master System, Mega Drive, Saturn, and Dreamcast. At first glance, felt plausible. The branding was slick. Specs were just futuristic enough, but believable. But quickly, things didn't add up. And the quote unquote leaked photos used recycled assets and mismatched fonts. Sharp eyed fans discovered that the images were actually had metadata from Adobe Photoshop. Nice.
Oof.
Eventually, Sega intervened legally, requesting Martin to cease using the Super Sega name, destroy all prototypes, and provide details on units sold and funds raised. Despite this, Martin indicated plans to continue the project unless Sega compensated him for the costs and consumer payments.
don't think that's how it works.
You're right.
Nope.
I don't think so either.
Worth a shot, though.
The project's legitimacy had further been questioned when Martin reportedly went missing with 138,000 euros in funds, leading to widespread allegations of fraud. Martin even told those who had purchased a pre-order to challenge the card with their credit card, or the charge with their credit card company, and included an email on the process of how to get it done with their bank. Charge back. So I think what ties these stories all together isn't just that it was retro banding or community buzz. I think it's the exploitation of nostalgia, which again pisses me off. And it's that blind trust that fans have in the first place with personalities or platforms that quote unquote speak their language. So the Coleco Chameleon taught us to look under the hood. The Intellivision Amico reminded us that even a passionate pitch can collapse without transparency. And the Super Sega hoax showed us that virality can outpace verification even in the age of digital rumors. So to wrap things up, in a world where anyone can launch a product with a slick video and a few buzzwords, skepticism is healthy. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So thank you for attending today's Gaming History 101. And just a reminder, if you have ideas for a story you'd like to hear, send us a message at gamersweekpodcast@gmail.com, and we might feature your suggestion.
But I am glad that there are those people out there that are still willing to be the investigative source and call people out on their bullcrap.
And, the one thing that I think that what's awful about these is that often it's those people who have come under fire from supporters of these projects, right?
Yeah.
So there has been really some toxicity that comes out of that, where people are kind of pitted against each other. Are you a supporter of this? Are you not? Especially with Tommy Tallarico, who had such a reputation before this as being like an icon of the gaming community, and then to find out that he was less than legitimate, but also he was fanning the flames a little bit by calling people out in these videos that he would put together, and basically kind of doing what Sega did on the playground for us as kids by being like blast processing, right?
Yeah.
Where all of a sudden it became something where people were drawing lines in the sand, creating drama with just didn't need to exist. And imagine as well, and there's a part of me that doesn't feel bad for folks like this, but there's a part of me that does, getting caught up in the hype, supporting this, really wanting this to come to fruition, and then having it drop out on you after you made some bold claims or you called someone else out, right? You really wanted this, and now you're left with egg on your face. So it's kind of gross to me, honestly.
Well, I guess in the best light, you could say it's the Peter Molyneux school of marketing. Just sell the thing. We'll make it
just
later.
sell it, right? Yeah.
Right. So.
Oh, good old Peter.
Good old Peter. They still let Peter keep doing projects, so.
It's like he should be in jail for crying out loud. Should I read this or?
Yeah, because typically the person who hosts reads the ending.
Mm-hmm.
Blue.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The only one who didn't get caught tonight.
Well, sorry. I only did 17,000 things today.
Just making sure. I didn't know if you were like Ryan really sucked at the outro, so I'm going to take over. All right. So thank you for listening to episode 163 of Gamers Week Podcast, and a big thank you to the Retro Club Podcast, Love Retro BTW, Pixel Pond Production Company, and the Absolutely the Best Podcast, a work in progress, for sponsoring this episode. Don't forget to check out their links in the show note. And if you want to connect with Gamers Week, follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky at Gamers Week PC. Follow us right here on Twitch at twitch.tv/Gamers Week Podcast, where we record live every Wednesday at 8:30 Central Standard Time. Email us at gamersweekpodcast@gmail.com. Visit our merch store at gamers-week-podcast.creator-spring.com. Or if you'd like to do it the easy way, follow the link in the show notes. And last but not least, join us on Patreon at patreon.com/gamersweek. Finally, since you made it all the way to the end of the episode, please leave us a rating and a review to let us know how we did. We really do value your feedback. And while you're there, consider subscribing on iTunes, Spotify, or your podcast platform of choice. What
Yeah,
are we
no, true.
laughing at?
If you're just listening, you missed Donnie, who's insisted on doing the show without his glasses tonight, doing the old man squint at his screen on camera.
Let me check that for you.
Yeah. That's what happens. Like if I go into a fast food place or anything with a menu that I got to look up, I'm just like, I went into the baseball card shop like 2 weeks ago, and I'm in there, like they got stuff on the wall, and I'm just like kind of squinting because the prices are really small and on all these boxes. I'm like, it's like, what the, like, how much it, God damn it. I just left. I was like, I'm not going to do this.
They should know that the only people interested in buying baseball cards are the bifocal crowd.
Right. They should have a complimentary magnifying glass to give to everybody that over my age that comes in there so you can see everything. Like, okay, yeah, I'll take one of that one. I'll take that one. Yeah, I'll take that one.
I crossed the threshold myself recently when I went to go get new glasses, and they said, "Do you want to, go with bifocals this time around?" It's like, why?
See, I don't need bifocals. I can see everything up close. I can read everything up close just fine. It's just distance I have a problem with.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do I wear my glasses sometimes like bifocals just to F around? Sure. Put them on the bridge of my nose and just play, huh?
So you need bifocals.
No, I don't.
All right, everyone. Well, thanks for stopping by. Have yourself a good night. I assume we're going to raid someone, Doneldo.
Yes, we are going to raid Pixel Pond Productions, and right now they are playing some retro stuff. I believe they're playing some Super Mario Sunshine. So we're going to send you on over to our friends, Pixel Pond Production Company. Go ahead and have a great rest of your night with them. We are logging off, and we will see you back next week with hopefully less technical problems. I apologize.
Yeah, knocking on wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, it's veneer. It's veneer. That's because you knocked on veneer.
I knocked on my head. I'm
That's
a
not wood.
blockhead.
Oh God.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.